All right. So let's try to solve the HTML exercise together. Can anyone help me with like what should I write? What should be the outermost thing?
Start with duck type.
Yeah, the duck type. So what do I write?
I don't know. That's this side. It's called.
It's bigger than yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean the second one is a line.
Exclamation point. Yeah, sorry.
That's less than.
Less. Right, less than exclamation point. And then what?
DOC type.
Yeah.
Type. What was that?
Space.
Space.
Yeah, HTML.
With big or small letters.
Small. Doc type should be capital if it's okay.
Okay.
And yeah, there's no space.
There's no space there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Like
greater
this?
than.
Okay. And then what?
The closing tag for HTML.
Mm-hmm.
Should be. We also should specify the language.
Mm-hmm. Where do I do that?
Meta A.
Not the less than bracket HTML and lang, LANG equals double quote. Yeah, comes up there. There you go.
All right. Cool. So that's what is can someone explain me what this is, this outermost thing, and that one?
It's to tell the browser that you're using HTML5.
Mm-hmm. Does everybody know that? What this first tag does? It's
I've never heard about it, to be honest.
so
Actually, I was reading it like a couple of nights ago, but
yeah. So there are different versions of HTML, right? The current version that we're using is HTML5, and this tag basically just tells the browser that you should understand what I'm writing after this as HTML5. And then this tag is basically the wrapper for all the HTML content that I'm gonna write, and the lang is used by your browser to for example, I actually don't know what it's used for.
It's actually because there's something about direction. Let's say if you change the language, like on the Asian countries, they read different also in Persian. So it tells the browser that this is a Western language, so you should read left to right, top to bottom.
Yeah,
I think.
It's used for a couple of different things. I remember I used it for something recently, but I can't remember what it is.
Sometimes it also shows like question mark. It's mainly used in meta tags, so the language. That's why we define meta tag in language. In meta tags, the language, and also here because it shows like question mark. It doesn't show anything.
Okay.
So that's why we use this property.
Yeah. Okay. So what do I write inside the HTML?
The head, if you have a head.
Mm-hmm. And a head. And the next, what do you say?
Paragraph.
A paragraph? Would I write a paragraph in here?
No.
It's in the body tag.
It's the links or stuff like that.
Yeah, so
with the title,
There's
the
the
meta,
body.
the
Yeah.
links.
right. So I could, for example, write this tag in the head. Is that the correct one?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what is this used for?
That actually goes into the top of the browser as the document title.
Yeah, so if you have multiple tabs open, for example, then the title is the one that's displayed up here, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. All right. So what do I write after the head?
body.
Yeah. Okay. So let's try to take one by one. Do you want to start, Samina?
Okay. The first first you said create header elements,
Mm-hmm.
which we know it's start with the H1,
Mm-hmm.
and which is most important heading. Right?
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, that was a heading. The header is a header.
Yeah.
Actually.
So
Sorry.
so it's what do I do?
You should use the tag header,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And inside the header, you said that we need a navigation.
Yeah.
With the tree content.
Yeah.
So for navigation, we need to use the list tag.
The list tag.
We usually use it unordered list.
Mm-hmm.
And inside UL, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And inside UL, we should define three LI tag, list tag, list item.
Yeah.
And each list, we should define the link, because this content in the navigation must be linked.
Yeah.
So we use the A tag. And for higher presses, we should.
Can I ask a question? Do you guys know what I'm doing here when this thing appears after I just type one character or two? Do you know what that is? Yeah, it's called emmet. And yeah, there's a cheat sheet somewhere. I actually think that you posted that.
That was me that I
Yeah.
put some stuff.
Yeah.
I created a Word document with some really crazy code that you can go back for. And
That's
I
a
said,
code
I'll just leave that.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. You type
work in the CodePad too?
it CodePen. It built with it, so you don't need to do anything. It will work by itself. It is also built in with Visual Studio Code, so it will also
Visual
work there.
Studio is working, but the temp code is not working for me. I don't know why.
It's probably a setting. I'm not sure. Maybe we can try to look at that afterwards. I know that it's also a setting on your profile. Okay. Anyway, so I created a list item with a link inside it, and then what do I do with the link?
So we need a address.
Yeah.
Between these two JSON marks.
Yeah.
Which,
so we can just write something.
And must be between the opening tag and closing tag of the link, which is A.
Yeah.
You should write one of these our content, which is about.
Right. Perfect. Yeah,
But
so
about this HTTP something, I think it must contain the name of the file. I don't know.
no,
This
it's
one is a kind of confusing part.
okay. So whatever you write within the opening tag and the closing tag of the anchor is going to be the one that it's the text that shows up, or you can actually you can also do some other stuff within and inside an anchor. You can actually today it's legal to write like a lot of different stuff inside a link, and then the whole thing is clickable. But yeah, you can also just write text like we did before, and then whatever is inside the href. Can anyone tell me what that does?
So the href, that's the link to wherever you're going, whether it's in within the page or to a different link.
It's our reference.
Yeah.
URL.
And then can anyone tell me what the difference between a link? Just gonna do this. A link like that and a link like this is.
I think this one, the second one, is a local link or inner link, which lead us to another part of the same page. But the other one actually can lead us to another page or another website.
Yeah. You're onto something, but they these two types of links, they actually have a name. Can someone remember what they are called? The types of links?
Local.
The first one is an HTTP link.
Yeah.
That one I remember. The second one I don't remember.
Okay, so yeah, well, that's actually also true. They are, one is internal and the other is external, but they're also different in that this one is an absolute link and this one is a relative,
Yes.
right? So this, you can write this link from any page on your website. It will always lead to the same thing, right? But this link, if you are within a folder that contains a file which is called about.html, it will lead to that. But if you navigate into another folder where you have an about.html, then it will link to another file. So this is a relative one. It's relative to your current location. Yeah, is that clear?
Yeah.
We'll cover it later on when we have multiple files. Right now it doesn't really matter because we just have this one file. All right, so we'll have these three. Do you know what this does, by the way? Have you seen that before? This hash in the anchor href.
Yeah.
Have you seen that on other sites before?
Yes.
Do you know why it's used?
It's when we define ID for that part of the website or page that we want to go there.
Yeah, that's true. So, for example, if you had a section on on the same page that was an about section, then you could do like this. So if you in your body, let's say I'm just gonna do something. So I had a section with an H1 that had an ID. Some of it is, I know that it's a bit more, it's a bit more fast-paced than the presentation, for example, but let's just try. So let's say I have a section with an H1 that has an ID about. So it just shows up as text, right? But if I have a link that has a hash about, then it's actually linking to that section. Yeah, it will. So if you click on that link, I don't know if it's gonna work, but yeah, then it will jump to it.
But I have a question here. I remember that when we discussed the lists, when to do links, somebody mentioned, or maybe you mentioned that using navigation, the nav tag is better than using the lists.
Yeah. So
that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, that's.
Isn't that now is a semantic HTML file structure?
That's super well spotted, and I actually wanted to cover that. What you normally do in semantic HTML is you wrap your list inside a nav tag so that you tell Google that it's a navigation. You can also edit a role, which I can't remember what the role is. It's to add
navigation, I think.
Yeah, it could be. You guys can Google that. So that's to give Google and also screen readers even more information.
But what's
about
the difference of having this without the lists?
So you can do this, and you can also just do a nav with the links, right? And that's also fine. If it has to be super semantically correct, then you would do this, because the first one, because then you tell your browser that this is a list of something, and it is a list of something, right? It's a list of links. So even though it's a bit more markup, you would write a navigation with an unordered list inside, where you have some links within the list items.
I think it's also easier to style, isn't it? If you do the list.
Well, it depends on the layout that you're going for. Sometimes you need a wrapper around your links anyway, so then it might as well be a list item, but it really depends on what styling you have. So,
but if it's a list without links like to something that
yeah.
doesn't navigate to anything, then you wouldn't put the nav around it.
No.
I mean, it's just
That
a
you can,
list of content.
yeah, you can also have a list of other stuff.
Yeah, but it's because it like has the links that navigate to other places.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
I think that can the navigation also, the nav tag also be put on footer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can.
Fine,
Yeah.
Anywhere where there's navigation.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can use, for example, you can use a list of links in the footer.
Yeah.
You can use
Yeah. Yeah, it can be a global navigation like you would have in your header and maybe your footer. It can also be a local navigation that you only have on a certain section of your website. Yeah, there are all sorts of navigations. Okay, so I guess we've got number 1 and number 2 covered. Is there a volunteer for number 3 with the main element and some paragraphs? What should I do?
Create a main tag.
Mm-hmm. Where?
After the header.
Mm-hmm. Like this?
Yeah, and within it, P, the paragraph tag.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, a couple of them.
Okay. So that's also Emmet. And actually you can even say, I think you can say like lorem T and then 10 and then it will create a lorem ipsum for you with 10 words. It's so nice. I think you can also say like times 3.
Yeah, you create 3.
And then,
yes.
But I can't remember how you do with the,
yeah,
like,
I saw that. I think you put it.
I think my Emmet doesn't work in my code pen.
Yeah, that's what I said, but I guess it's in the settings.
I don't know which setting, probably in HTML7.
I think it's curly brackets. I believe.
yeah, I know that you can, yeah.
can actually put the text on it.
But I just don't think then it's not gonna go, like, not gonna create some lorem text. I just want to see. Anyway, I will post that later. Okay, but now we have a main with some links. No, sorry, with some paragraphs inside. So what are we missing? Footer. Yeah. So can someone help me with that one? Where does the footer go? Does it go in here?
After main.
No.
No. Does it go here?
Yeah.
What is it called?
Footer.
It's called a footer, yeah. And then, yeah, and then you can put it in, wrap it inside a paragraph, but you don't need to. You can also just copyright something in there. Okay, perfect. Well, you guys have a good level of HTML as far as I can tell. So that's nice. Is it sort of the same that you guys ended up with?
Yeah.
Sort of the same?
Except for the anchor tag.
Yeah. What was the difference there?
I just did not put any A tag. I just put it on the list directly.
Okay. And do you know what the difference is? So if you just have a list, so if you just have a list item, what is the difference between?
It's highlighted. There's a hyperlink.
Yeah. So if you click on the list item, then it's not gonna go anywhere, right? So if you want to navigate somewhere, then you need the anchor tag.
And Krista,
Yeah.
can I ask again, why did you put the nav tag before the URL tag?
Yeah, so that's basically just for some extra semantics. It's to tell Google and to tell screen readers that what you have in here, this list, is a list that navigates somewhere. It's a list of navigation items, but you don't require it. It's not required for you to be able to create a navigation. It's purely to give more information about your website.
Okay.
All right. So congrats with this one. Now we're going to move on to the CSS exercise. Or do you prefer that I talk a little bit about HTML first? How should we do it?
I think it's better.
So it's a bit of teaching now, and then
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the page?
yeah, definitely.
The footer is supposed to appear in the end,
Yeah.
but for me it's like in the middle.
Okay. Can I see?
No, it's right there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the same you
The-
written.
So this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to appear in the end of the page.
That's the end of the page.
It
It
is.
is end of the page.
Yeah.
Okay.
The end of the content.
Oh, you mean that it appears like in the
It's
Yeah.
not,
Middle of the
in
it's
the
not
middle.
down enough.
All right, but well, that is because it's a very good question actually.
I think he's thinking about a fixed footer where the footer is always fixed at the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So if you
do that with the styling.
right, so if I open the page as a full page, right, then this is what I see, and what you say is that that should be in the bottom, right?
Yes.
So can someone tell me what the reason is that the footer is up here instead of down there?
Because we don't have enough content in the page.
Hmm?
It's because the height was not set up
We
as
only
well.
have 2 paragraphs.
Exactly. So the reason that this happens is because if we inspect, have you done this before? Inspect your page with the DevTools. Yeah. So what you do is you right click something on any website and you click on inspect, and then you can see the whole DOM and actually all the HTML and all the CSS that's on your page. So in this case, I can see everything that we have written together, right? So my footer is up there, but if I inspect the body, then I can see that whatever is blue, that is my body. That's the whole body element, and you can see that it ends right at the footer. So it's because it doesn't have enough height, right?
Yeah.
So if I tell the body that it should have a minimum height of 100. I'm just gonna use. I don't know if you know this viewport height. It's viewport height is basically the height of whatever you're looking at. So it's the screen where you see the website. So the white area is my viewport right now. The white area is my viewport right now, and the white area is my viewport right now. So I'm telling the browser that the body should have a minimum height of 100 viewport height, which is 100% of my website, and that's why I suddenly can scroll, because something in the body has some margin, as you can see that the body doesn't start at the top of the viewport. Can you see it there? It starts at the top of about. That is because something inside the body has a margin top. So anyway, now that I applied 100% viewport height to my body, if I also add some more height to my main, then I can push the footer down, right? So if I say minimum height, just I don't know, 60 viewport height, then I can push the footer down. Can you see that? So that's one way of creating more content. So now when I expect the body, you can see it has a lot more height. Cool. So I'll go through some slides, and I have a lot, and we only have 1 hour left, so we'll probably not finish, but we'll just take it easy and cover as much as we can. All right.
Take a 5-minute break or something.
No breaks today.
Okay.
Okay, we can take a break.
Oh, it's alright.
Just joking. It's fine. It's fine.